Hello, so good to see you again. We're going to do something really fun today. I am going to carve a pumpkin. Have you ever carved a pumpkin with your family or your friends? It is amazing. It is the best, and that's exactly what we're going to do today. But to do that, we need some paper, because I think most people know just how messy carving a pumpkin can be. And it's not just carving the pumpkin, it's the mess that comes out of it that can be a real problem. So we're spreading out the paper here. And what we're also going to do is get a few tools to help us. I have here a pencil and pen. I have two different knives and two different kinds of spoons, and we're going to get started. Now, the pumpkin I picked today is what I would describe as a classic pumpkin, very normal, round, with a good face to work with, and that's what we're going to start with today. So what I'm going to do first, the first step in carving a pumpkin is your point of entry. So I'm just going to make a nice little circle marking on the top here. What I like to do, I learned this from my father, is to make a little notch on one side, and it helps you really find it very easily if you have to do that in the future. That little notch really helps you get where you need to go. And I'm going to try the big knife first, and if this doesn't work out well, then I'll try the little one. I'm thinking the little one may actually be better for this, but I like to have my options open. This is a good, strong pumpkin, that's for sure. I picked a good one. You can smell that pumpkin-y smell as I begin cutting into the flesh. Not a good pumpkin for making a pie, that's for certain, but a very good pumpkin for jack-o'-lanterns. As I said, my father is very big on traditions. So when I was a boy, we would go and we would pick out a pumpkin. And sometimes it was in a pumpkin patch, but more often it was at the H-E-B in Austin. Or similar store, just like it often is today. And we would find a good one for what we were wanting. Do we want a long face? Do we want a classic round one? Normally, we picked a classic round one. One thing that my father always liked was a stem. He said it's always easier if you can find one with a stem. Just about connected it here. But what I've often found, is that, I got it on the first try. I almost never get it on the first try. Now I'm going to do something. I'm going to disrobe a little bit for you, because as anyone who's ever carved a pumpkin knows, that carving a pumpkin is a messy proposition. I'm going to take off my ring. I'm going to take off my jacket. I'm going to take off my Fitbit. I'm going to roll up my sleeves, because we're going to make a little bit of a mess today. And that's part of the fun of carving a pumpkin. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this top, and I'm just going to slice off the bottom part of this flesh. So I just get that all gone. Excellent, excellent. You know, something that I did forget are paper towels. I'm going to get those in just a minute, but we'll leave that for a second. So now I've got the face area. And what I'm planning on doing today is a very classic pumpkin face. This is not anything fancy. I want a classic triangle pumpkin face. I love me some classic pumpkins. And don't get me wrong, I love the things that people do with other shapes. But this is going to be a classic. You probably can't see that. That's okay. But this is a smiling triangle-eyed pumpkin face. Now, before I get started, don't think that I've abandoned you, but I'm going to go get a towel. Because my hands are about to get super messy. Now, when I do this with my daughter, what typically happens is I will gut the pumpkin and she will actually carve it. She's quite talented. She once made a "you mad bro" face, if you can believe that. She did a fantastic job. She's quite a talented artist. I can only take credit that I got her started on her interest in art, but she has exceeded me many times over, for which I am deeply impressed. Okay, I'm just going to work the flesh of the pumpkin, try to get as many of those seeds out as we can. But what I like to do is really get them worked over good before I start reaching in there. Because once you start reaching in there, your hands are gross for the rest of the process. There's just no getting around that. So I try to get as much as I can first. Get the bulk, you might say, worked out when you do have to go several times. Now, I don't know if you had any particular costumes that were big for you when you were a child, but I had one particular memory that really stays with me. And that is when I was very, very little. This will give you an idea how little. Is I went as a ghost, but not just as a ghost. I was so little that my mother made a ghost costume for me, but she also made a ghost costume for my teddy bear. So that will give you an idea of just how young I was. I was very, very young. There comes those guts. That's what they say in the Great Pumpkin. You didn't say you were going to kill it. Ah! So that is the earliest I remember going trick-or-treating. So I had my ghost costume and I had my teddy bear with its ghost costume. Now, I don't want to put the fault on my mother who made the costume, but I think it's just the nature of a ghost costume is that the eyes tend to kind of shift a little bit as you're walking. They don't really stay in place. It's constantly shifting as you walk. And as it shifted, I couldn't see. And I tripped when I was getting near one of the neighbors' houses, which wouldn't be that big a deal. But I did grow up in Austin. And one of the things that you will find in Texas and other southwest type places is certain houses have a certain kind of plant as a decoration. And in this case, it was a cactus. And yes, I fell butt first into a cactus. And I'd not even gone very far. It wasn't even that far from my house. I can still see that same cactus, I believe, is still there today, many years later. And so I got to spend the rest of Halloween. And this is not the slightest exaggeration. I know it sounds like something out of a movie or a TV show. With my mother pulling cactus spines out of my butt. That's not the most fun thing in the entire universe. And you'd think it scarred me for life, but nope. The prospect of dressing up, having fun, did not keep me from going out again. Doing very well here. All right. Let's pull out. My flesh is really fighting me. Sometimes I've found that you actually have to cut the flesh with a knife. It's so thick in some parts, and that's okay. All right. Now, I'm going to try to work on this face here. Work on that face. There we go. I have been Darth Vader as a child for Halloween. When I was a teenager, I went as a kind of pseudo-Wolverine where I made my own claws. As some of you might know, I'm quite a big X-Men fan, and I certainly was as a young teenager. That eye came out a little wonky, which is perfectly fine. The important thing with these is just to have fun with them. All right. Let's take it out here. go. All right, I'm going to work on this mouth. Mouth is the real emotive part of the classic pumpkin. And try to work in some teeth here. When I do my stories, if kids are a little younger, I'll do 5 little pumpkins, which is simply 5 little pumpkins sitting on a gate. The first one said, "Oh my, it's getting late." The second one said, "But we don't care." The third one said, "There's witches in the air." The fourth one said, "Let's run and run and run." And the fifth one said, "Get ready for some fun." And whoosh went the wind, out went the lights. 5 little pumpkins rolled out of sight. Now, of course, you do that with your fingers. That's for little kids. Older kids, I have a song that I do about pumpkins. Let's see where I missed. You never quite get all the connections on your first try, and that's okay. If you have to remove it in sections, that's okay too. Let's see. Here it comes. Come on out there, buddy. Come on out. Let's see your smile. Yeah. Very nice. Very nice. Now, we have ourselves a very classic pumpkin here. Now, I had planned on going just a little bit longer on this, but it seems the battery on my camera is not going to last very long. Seems I did not charge it as much as I thought I did. But what I want to show you here is, if I can get the angle right, that is a very classic pumpkin. Very classic pumpkin indeed. Let me see if I can get the light just right. There we go. I like that. I like that. Well, I hope you all have a very happy Halloween, and I hope you have a spooky night. Thank you, and I'll talk to you soon.